welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Today's video, I'm basically just going to be jumping on the bandwagon. It's a little bit trendy, pretty much everyone's doing it, which is why I'm going to do it like an absolute sheep. So today's video is all about my goals for 2020? 2020? 2020 sounds better. So 2020, these are my goals. These aren't just writing goals or book related goals. These are kind of just anything for 2020 because I feel like a lot of mine kind of link together. So I just wanted to chat about all of them really. So goal number 1, finish at least the second draft of One Road In. So One Road In is a project I started during NaNoWriMo. I got just over 50,000 words done. And I'm not massively happy with them. I mean, I'm happy they are there because they were not there before, but I know I can do better. I think there's a lot of character flaws going on in there, quite a lot of continuity stuff, and a few issues. So I want to basically go through that, tear it apart, start again, and get probably around 2 drafts of it done this year. I'm not planning on publishing it this year, because I feel like it's going to be quite beefy. So number 47, which is the book I published last year, which is a bit terrifying to say that, that was only 70,000 words long. So it's only just a novel, really. It was almost novella. It was just about a novel. Whereas One Road In, after planning it, feels like it's probably going to be between 100 and 120,000 words, which is considerably more. So there's so much more that can go wrong, and it's a lot more complicated, and there's so many more characters. And yeah, so I just need to take a lot more time over it. I'm actually at the minute trying to find some police officers that will let me interview them. So if you're a police officer and you fancy a chat about missing person stuff, please let me know, because that would be amazing. But yeah, so finish at least the second draft of One Road In by the end of the year. My second goal, which is also to do with One Road In, whilst I don't want to publish in 2020, I do want to work out what road I want to take. So number 47 was quite a considered decision for me. I did make the conscious decision to self-publish. I liked that idea because I'm really into products, and that sounds really nerdy, but I like the idea of just taking something from nothing. Like number 47 was not, it literally didn't exist this time last year. So to take it from words in my head that were then on paper and then in a book that I can actually sell and be really proud of, I really liked that entire process. I loved being in control of the whole thing. I kind of loved having to pay people and kind of hire people. Yeah, so I think maybe my heart's telling me to stick with self-publishing, but I'm not sure. It depends really what opportunities arise. I might take a look at one of these hybrid publishers. I literally don't know. That's probably an entire another video, but 2020 I will thoroughly research all the ways of publishing, probably keep you guys along for the ride and let you know how I'm getting on, and yeah, decide what I want to do with One Road In. The third thing I want to do in 2020 is I want to start a newsletter. So I do have a website. It's not particularly well kept, so it really needs an update, and that will be something that I will focus on probably in January and February. I need to buy the domain and that sort of thing and just make it look a lot more professional. Off the back of sorting a website, I want to start a newsletter which will go out once a month, and on that newsletter there will be links to my content, to videos, probably book reviews because I do about one of those every month, and there will also be an exclusive short story. So I've already had an idea for the short stories. There will be roughly 12 of them in this particular series, and it's basically all different stops on a train journey I made between Christmas and New Year. So all of the stories are inspired by a different stop on the train on the way to wherever I went for New Year. So yeah, I have already started writing a few of those. They're quite eerie. I'm kind of sticking to the kind of creepy horror thriller stuff. It's where I feel most comfortable writing. It's what I love reading the most, so it makes sense to stick to it. Yeah, so the first one of those should be ready to share with you guys in February. The fourth thing I really want to get better at in 2020 is YouTube. So I'm kind of at a stage now, I think, where I quite enjoy making the videos, and I hope people enjoy watching them, but I really want to try and make more different types of videos. So most of mine have been very much sitting and chatting to the camera. I'd like to have a go at some different stuff, maybe some more vloggy stuff. Actually the really random one that DR Ranger Writing tagged me in a few weeks ago where I ended up getting a guitar out. That was really random, but actually it was really fun. So I'd love to have a go at some more of those kinds of videos. And I do actually have one coming up quite soon. I've got a couple of different collaboration ones that I'm going to do. I just want to get immersed in the community a bit more, get to know a few different people, and just have a go at some sillier stuff, really. The fifth thing I want to do this year, that was my neck. I don't even know if you could hear that. I just made like the loudest crack. So number 5, it's kind of the opposite of number 4. So number 4 is to get better at online stuff, and kind of number 3 is too with the newsletter. This one is to actually not forget about the local stuff. So I think there's a lot of power in getting to know your local community and really getting immersed in the creative scene that's in your local community. I'm lucky enough to come from somewhere in Kent called Folkestone, which is so creative. It's such a creative area. There's a massive, huge amount of musicians and artists, poets are everywhere, authors, bloggers, journalists, literally they're everywhere. So I want to start getting a bit more involved in that. I already go along to the Right by the Sea group, which I've mentioned before in videos. That is run by the amazing Karen, and I'll stick all the details to this in the links below, just in case you are also really eerily local to me. And that group has definitely allowed me to get to know more authors, get involved in local events like the book fair last year, and I've actually got an event coming up at the end of January, which will be all about self-publishing and how I did it, and basically would I advise you do it? Did I enjoy it? It's just a big chat. So yeah, I want to make sure that I stay involved and get more involved in the local community. So number 6, whichever makes you feel more uncomfortable. Number 6, the sixth thing that I would like to do in 2020 is make a real concerted effort to read a wider range of authors. I think that everyone probably does this a little bit, but I definitely slip into reading the same sort of stuff. So I really like thrillers, and I like dark, macabre things, which is great, but it has kind of led me to just repeatedly read people like Neil Gaiman, quite like a bit of CJ Box at the minute, CJ Tudor as well, weird that they share initials, but that has I've kind of pigeonholed myself, so I've kind of realised that I don't particularly like classics, probably because I've not read the right ones. I don't actually read a great deal of female authors, which is quite bizarre, and yeah, I want to make a bit more of a concerted effort to really just read a wider range of authors. So I've already released a video, I'll link it down below, a couple of weeks ago about my most anticipated books of 2019, and there are a couple of non-fiction ones on there, which is quite unusual for me, and there are also a few from African-American authors, female authors. I'm reading a book at the minute actually, which is a couple of years old, called The Vegetarian, which is by a South Korean author, and it's just amazing to read things through like a completely different lens. So I really want to make sure that in 2020 I am being more diverse and inclusive in what I read. Number 7, no, that's the only way you can do it. Brilliant. Number 7, so it's kind of, this is my last goal of 2020. My last goal for this year is actually to say yes to less. So me and my other half were talking quite a lot between Christmas and New Year about how tired we've been and how, yeah, run down, actually, to be totally honest. So we've been quite tired in 2019, say yes to an awful lot of things. We've both got like a million hobbies, and we never really have evenings where we don't do anything. So 2020 is the year that we look out for each other a bit more. So I've taken it as my responsibility to tell him when I think he's maybe doing too much, or maybe when he needs a weekend to just chill out, or we just want to go to a cafe and have a coffee. Like, just when you need to just take a step back and be kinder to yourself and say, I do not need to be productive all of the time. And then he said that he'll do the same for me, which might be quite bad, because I very recently just watched a video actually by Tabuggy, I'll link it down below, and she was talking about obsessive productivity. I've never heard the phrase before, but the second she said it, I was like, that is me. I am definitely like that. Just, yeah, literally, as it sounds, obsessed with being productive. Every time I finish work on my train home, I'm like, tonight I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And if I don't do those things, if I only do one of them and then I chill out and read, I get down on myself. So I think I just need to be more conscious of how I'm spending my time, how much of my time I'm giving away to things I don't really want to be doing. And yeah, just all round, be kinder, do a little bit less, but do it better, if that makes sense. So yeah, so those are my 7 goals for 2020. Slightly unusual amount, I suppose. I don't know if I was supposed to go for 5 or 10, but I went for 7, and I will be sure to keep you updated on how I'm getting on with them. I would love to hear your goals for 2020. I've watched a lot of videos, so I know that there are many people out there who have a huge ream of goals, but I really wanted to make a conscious effort to have less this year. Less is more. I will try and do less. I can't guarantee it's going to work, but I will try my best. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get a notification every time I upload. Be sure to like the video, and I will see you next week.